Welcome back, everybody, to this podcast episode. Karine, hello.
Hi.
Looking forward to dive into our theme today. We're going to be speaking about the perfect balance between higher vision and human reality. It's very juicy and such a direct experience that we constantly live as leaders, as creators, as visionaries, as change makers. So yes, juicy topic, and it hits real raw stuff. Let's go.
Yeah, because as we were discussing before coming on air, both of us have this to find this balance in our own lives, of we are change makers, we are visionaries, and we also live in the 3D world. So how do we bridge that? How do we go to the highest vision and then come back and bring that up in the 3D reality?
Yeah, yeah, it's a very fascinating topic. And yes, as creators, creators and visionaries, we tap into visions. So this expanded way of living that we tap into, whether it comes, from a God, the universe, nature, wherever we channel this from, and be inspired by, it requires a change in the 3D. It requires a change in our human body and our human reality. And this is where it gets bumpy with for a lot of visionaries, for a lot of creators, because they receive a vision, they have inspiration to move towards certain goals or expanded vision, but then when it comes to reality, there's a lot of things to address and to change, and a lot of people actually quit when it comes to the step of changing their playground, because it's not just a matter of taking action, not here at least. It's a matter of taking aligned action, and not only goal oriented or a way of working which is objective, but more of a subjective way of operating, a more creative way of operating that is not necessarily linear. And in this non-linear process, we experience a lot as human bodies, and we need to address what happens in the human body in order to become the embodiment of the leader who can hold this vision without compromising. And I insist on this because a lot of leaders, depending from how you operated up until now, you have learned maybe to compromise or to tense up to create a vision. But this way is the total opposite way, is how can you stay authentic and lead from a space where you have overflow of energy and inspiration, and from there you take the steps. So that's one aspect of what we're going to be talking about today. But another aspect is also how to not put blindfolds on things that happen in the body, like emotions, like
Mm.
integrity and values, like desires, and true genuine needs or true genuine boundaries. How can we address the human as we are extrapolating and expanding into a new version of ourselves, therefore a new vision or a new way of living life, or a new form of a business, for example. Yes, that's what I'm putting in now in our cooking pot, Karine, and then we can bounce back and see.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because I know you've lived it, and I've also done that. Sometimes because we are visionaries, we want to bypass the 3D in a way, and because we have that great desire or feeling coming up, and we're like, okay, this is it, I found the thing, I'm moving forward and burn every bridges behind us. And how do we manage it? Because sometimes the fire is real inside us of saying, this is over, I'm done, da, 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 I'm moving forward. But then, in my experience, and I'm sure that's also yours, um, they are consequences also of doing that, moving maybe too fast, or,
Yeah.
how, what do you have to say on that topic?
Well, consequences. I don't know if I like the word consequences. My
Okay.
father always used to tell me when I was young, everything has a consequence, but it was always on the fear side of things. So I don't want
Okay.
to. I don't want to bring the fear aspect towards it. But yes, every choice that we make has a ripple effect in our life.
Okay,
You
let's say
know, we
that
can speak
ripple
the
effect.
language that is more spiritual, which is more everything is action reaction, or there's karma, you know, whether it's a positive or negative karma. But if we stay grounded in this, yes, I feel that we need to take into consideration all aspects of life when we are about to quantum leap or to expand our vision or to take steps towards a new playground. Because I have seen and I have experienced myself also in both sides quantum leaps where we are inspired so much by a new vision or a new frequency for the ones who are a bit more spiritual and who are listening, that we drop everything. We're like, it's from black to white. It's like a major change. And this has a price to pay. Yes, another word and consequence. And I think it's important to address that we need to take all aspects into consideration about the body. So there's the nervous system, checking our nervous system before as a human body. Can we actually support and handle the amount of responsibilities that are waiting for us on the other side? And I could speak an hour just on this point.
Mm.
But because yes, it's so multi-layered. But if we go to all the bodies, there's the physical body, there's the emotional body, there's the energetical body, there's the spiritual body, right? There are also, as human bodies, we have relationships, right? We have commitments. We are engaged in life. It's not like we live alone, you know, on a mountain and there's no impact on people. The second we make a decision, there's a network of people that are going to be affected by our decisions. And it took me a certain time also to realize this answer myself, or this realization. But now I'm at a point where everything needs to be balanced, and that's why we are speaking into the perfect balance between our highest or the higher vision and the reality of being human. Because lately, I'm going to give an example. I had an amazing collaboration happening. And from one day to the other, just as we were expanding into a next level of wealth, a next level of roots, a next level of serving more, my collaborator decided to end the collaboration. Let's say not even 4 weeks before I fly out to move towards this service. And the point of what I'm sharing here is that it was done from black to white, and it really made me reflect on values, on, you know, what to consider when we are in partnerships, what to consider about our human body and also the other person's human body and the impact it has, and how to dose everything and stay responsible. So when we speak about responsibility, it's the capacity of our nervous system to handle both the expansion but also addressing the reality of things, and yes, and really taking into account the impact it has on others, and being responsible of not soothing others. That's not the point, but making sure that we are clear on what we are committing on, and make sure that everything is discussed. And that's an example. And I know, Karine, you also have examples. You were speaking about your trip to Sedona lately. You want to share a bit about this?
Well, yes, I went to Sedona with great leaders for 3 days. We were so activated in the vision of what's possible. And then when I came back, of course, I come back to my reality, and it was kind of a shock to say, okay, where do I go from what I saw to what is now? And how can I, like, for me, the work has been of bringing that level of energy in my everyday life, of saying, okay, this is what I see. Okay, how can I bring that energy? If, like, for me, one of the example, and it might seem basic for a lot of people, but for me it really helps, is that I've been upgrading my wardrobe for the past year. So saying, this I don't want to wear anymore, this is not aligned with the frequency. And it can seem small stuff, but the clothes we wear are a lot of how we show up in the world, like in business, a lot of people wear suits. There's a reason for that. You know, the suit gives you some presence and the prestige, and you know, there's also the luxury coming with that. On my part, I've been buying sequins. You know, like I've never worn sequins and pink and all those colors. And slowly but surely, this for me has been the way to upgrade what I envision for myself in my 3D reality. So that makes it fun. And also it helps my embodiment because, you know, just wearing white, I've worn a lot of black in the past few years. So for me, integrating lighter colors is also a way of doing that, you know, on a daily basis. So I
So
don't know
yeah,
if
so
you want to share
addressing,
more.
yeah, addressing every pieces of our human reality. That's what really we are saying here, that you're speaking more about like the look and the physicality of it, which is very important at an emotional level. What emotions wake up when we are about to change, or when we are having discussions with other people who are being impacted by our choices? All of this needs to be taken in consideration, because if we jump right away to a vision without addressing the roots and the reality of the body, we are bypassing something that will actually give power to our vision on the long run. It
Mm,
might work for a certain time, that you quantum leap and you go full on in your vision, but at one point, the gravity, which is a natural force here on planet Earth, will just pull you down and will make you address what you have bypassed. Whether
mm,
it's a conversation that has not ended with a collaborator, or it's clothes that you have not upgraded, or a house that you have stayed attached too much to it, but it's just no longer what really suits your desires, needs, and upgrade. uh, you know, or you're staying in a marriage that is désuet, we say in French, but is the date has
outdated.
passed, outdated. Yes, outdated. All of this at one point, as we choose our highest visions, or a higher vision, which in our spiritual language we call, you know, our calling, and God led or soul led, which we have a duty to follow, because this is what removes us from stagnation. If we don't, we just stagnate. Like, and life becomes tasteless, it becomes boring, confusion gets installed in our brain. Then you have depression, anxiety, you don't even know why this is happening in your body. And then we go to the extreme of getting sick. And then we become a victim of all of these symptoms, when the signal before this was, hey, move there. This is
Mm,
where your spirit is going. This is what your soul has chosen. This is what you're meant to do here. This is your vision. You have to go, because this is where your light and potential and power is. Or else, well, it's just, what's the use? What's your use if you're not going towards your service and what you're here to do? It's like, it's the same with food in the fridge, you know? If there's a food you buy, but you're not eating it, the juiciness of it, you're not it's not of service to your body, well, it's just going to rot in there. What else?
mm,
It's going to go back to the compost. We are the same. We are the same. So we might be jumping from one theme to the other, but I think there's coherence in everything that we are sharing right now, which is, we cannot move towards visions without addressing our reality as a body and all its aspect: physical, mental, spiritual, energetical, emotional. All of it has to be addressed, and relational, because our body
mm,
is linked to other people. And this, there's a nuance, because I'm not a believer of compromises.
mm,
I don't believe in compromises. There's a right dose of compromise that is discussed, but one cannot compromise for too long to patch the wound of somebody else. And that's where I'm going to be using a little bit more of the healing language. We are not here to pamper people or to please people. We are not here to be people pleaser. That's a false compromise. A true compromise is a collaboration.
mm,
It's not even compromise or sacrifice. It's actually what I call, or what we call, synergy. We are in synergy in our relationships, rather than compromising something that we feel called by. Because, yeah, and I'm not going to go too much into the detail of this, but it's important to synergize. So as souls, we each have our paths, and in our bodies and in our reality, it's going to look different, right? We all have a unique path, but we
Yeah.
choose to have allies on the path, and we want to be in relationships. And if at one point it gets outdated, it's also okay, but it doesn't mean that we totally break something or that we fully compromise ourselves. It means
Mhm.
where is the right dose of everything so that there's a synergy, and everybody from this synergy point is nourished and nurtured, and it's life-giving situation for everybody.
Mhm.
And this is where true collaboration is born. And I'm speaking relationally as one leader expands in a vision. And when we speak about business, it's the same. The business is an entity, it has humans in there, but it's also an entity that has roots. So you cannot just expand a business without upgrading or releasing some of the roots that are not working. You have to upgrade the systems, you have to upgrade the structures, the departments, you have to upgrade the way team operates. It's a whole machine that needs to upgrade, not only one chakra, not only
Yeah.
one part in the third eye, for example. Anyway,
Yeah.
enough said for this. Your turn.
Well, no, I really like the nuance you brought about compromise, because I think that's where we um I don't like the word struggle, but I would say that we are challenged in that area, because when we have the vision, and if we jump from here to there, we spoke about the ripple effect of that. And then if we decide to take it slow and then upgrade, it can sometimes feel like compromise. But if we rework that into the synergy part and collaboration part, I think it shifts the whole thing. And it, for me, it brings that notion of, okay, this is where I'm going. How can we do that? How can us in our relationship, in the collaboration, in my house, if I want to switch house, if I want to end my relationship, I'm a human, I'm mature, I'm able to figure that out without breaking everything, without having that negative ripple effect. And I really love that. The way you said that is that, okay, how can we work this together? Because it's always a co-creation. Life is a co-creation also. So of course we work with the higher vision, that is co-creation, but then in the 3D reality, how can we co-create this 3D reality to bridge that with others, so it's aligned and it's juicy and it can be fun? You know, it leaving a relationship doesn't have to be heart wrenching or terrible. You know, it can be done in a aligned way and a mature way, in a way that, you know, it's healthy. It's healthy. So I really like the nuance you brought on that.
Yeah, it's very healthy. It's really, I think the keyword in everything that we're sharing is collaboration, collaboration with self,
Mhm.
collaboration with others, collaboration with the divine. And it's so interesting because I co-wrote a book many years ago called Collaboration, and it was exactly around these themes. And I'm just like speaking about this now, and it feels like the book is coming back. And I should actually go and reread the book or go check it out, because yes, interesting that now we are at a stage where we are really embodying what is we're putting in action much more what we had channeled in this book back then, you know. So
Hey, we want to read that book.
yes,
I don't even remember you writing part of that book. So
collaboration
share
is
it.
called. Yes, it's yes, yeah, I'll have to put it in the link, or something. I have to put the link in the box or something. But yeah, check it out. Collaboration on Amazon. It's there. Hill House Production, I think, something like this. Yeah.
And it's like, for me, what's interesting about that is that years ago you wrote that book about collaboration, because that was also part of your higher vision. And now we're bridging it back. You know, we're having that conversation. So it's a like tangible example of how we can also do the bridge. You wrote the book before it
Yeah.
was maybe fully integrated in your life, but now you're working into this era of collaboration. So you know, this is kind of also how we do it.
Yeah, I love that you bring this example, Karen, because it's exactly this, you know, and we have been collaborating for many, many years, and we've seen the collaboration evolve. And as visionaries, this is exactly the principle. We tap into something that is coming from the future. This is what a vision is. And we don't know yet how to bring it into the matter. And now, like you say, like many years after the book was written, now we are like really tasting how our body is moving based on these visions. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, all right, everybody. I think yeah, I think we're gonna close with this. Anything you want to share last, Karine, before we close?
No, thank you so much for the sharing and the wisdom, and it's always a pleasure exchanging with you.
Aho, thank you so much, everybody. Remember that your body is important to consider all aspects of life as you're walking towards your visions. And much love and blessings towards everything that you're creating. We are here to be allies on your journey. If you need mentoring, if you need coaching, we are here. So just drop a message. Links are in the description of this podcast and podcast. Aho.
Thanks, Jeff.